Any health-related information on the following show provides general information only. Content presented on any show by any host or guest should not be substituted for a doctor's advice. Always consult your physician before beginning any new diet, exercise, or treatment program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Inspired and Empowered Living TV show podcast for a thriving business and life. We are live Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern on Talk4 TV, W4WN, and my YouTube channel. And today we are going to be talking about Authentically You for a thriving business and life. So, what does authentically you mean? And also know that I'm your host, Nancy Deutsch, licensed clinical social worker, certified hypnotherapist, and intuitive business expert. And this show is not a replacement for therapy or counseling. It is for educational purposes only. So what does authentically you mean? It means being true to you, who you really are, without the masks, without the facades. It means honoring yourself, your boundaries. It's learning to say no and not being a people pleaser in your life, in your business. And being authentically you opens you up to amazing opportunities, and people are more drawn to you, and you're more likable for you. And those who do not resonate with you, leave. And those who do are more drawn to you. So being authentically you, that's what this show will be about. And we're going to be talking more about it. So again, authentically you means moving to a whole new level of really getting to know yourself and know who you are on those deeper levels. It's understanding that place within you so that you can be yourself no matter what. And you can allow your light to shine, because every single person has this authentic self inside. And when you allow your authentic light to shine through, great things happen. So that's what you want. So let me describe more about being authentic. And it's beyond being honest and transparent. It's deeper than that. It's when you're aligning with your core values and your beliefs and your passions, and all of that aligns together, and you allow yourself to come forth and shine your light in that more authentic way. And it means being able to do it without wearing any masks or pleasing others to fit in to families or friends or societal expectations. All of that. So what does authentically you look like? Or what is it like in your business life? What it what it's like in your business life is being able to offer services that are in alignment with who you really are, that you're really clear what your soul's purpose is. And then you offer services based on your soul's purpose and mission. And it's learning to communicate in an honest way. And we have Anastasia says hi. Hi, Anastasia. Welcome. Good to see you. And it's communicating in an honest way, and it's learning to run your business in a way, and also not only your business but your life, aligning with those values, and really being true to yourself and your values, even when it feels challenging. So, I'm going to share with you my values so that you have a better idea of what I mean by the values. So, when I remember I've been doing this show for a long time, and when I was first trying to figure out what do I do with clients? How do I help people? And what I really got clear on when I worked with somebody who was helping me brand myself, I got clear that what I love to do with the clients that I work with is I love to inspire my clients. I love to inspire people. I love to inspire you. And then what was really important was not only the inspiration, but the empowerment and being able to help people empower themselves. And so what I realized, and that's really how the name of the show was born, Inspired and Empowered Living. And what I realized was that I really wanted to help others create an inspired and empowered life. And so that really has remained, and my values have not changed. They continue to be the same, and now it's grown because I wanted to talk about more about business as well as life. Now, obviously, business and life intersect. You can't separate out your personal from your professional life because you are who you are. That's being the authentic you. Now, it changes in professional situations, but when you're authentically you are who you are no matter what you're doing. And obviously we want to be appropriate. I'm not talking about being, and being authentic to your values. So I invite you to think about, what are your values? What is it? And now I'm going to add another thing to my values. So as I've been thinking about my branding and what I do and how I serve, the other piece to my values is really helping people connect with their intuition. I love talking about intuition. It excites me. It makes me happy. And I love sharing that. And to me, intuition and spirituality go hand in hand. And so that is my values. So I'm wondering, think about it. What are your values? Are your values, and whether you're dealing with your business or your life, because you actually live your life according to your values. And when you understand your values, when you go deeper into knowing what your values are, and you can authentically live your life from that place of values. So are your values honesty, integrity? Are your values love or peace or joy? Or are your values compassion, making a difference in this world? Let's use a word. It's serving, being of service. Now, even if you don't have an official business as serving or helping others, you may do that in your life, being you. I have a lot of counseling clients that I've worked with through the years. And what I've told them is when you are you and you get healthier and feel happier and feel clearer and you're shining your light, you are serving all the people around you and making a difference in your family and your friends' lives and at your work environment. So whether you and that doesn't matter whether you're a virtual worker or a worker in an office, because the bottom line is your energy shines through no matter what. And when you're authentic to who you are, that light shines through even more brightly. So I invite you all to kind of look at what what is what are your values? And when you're in life and you are being authentically you in your life, you are owning your story. And your story is your past and it's your present that will move you into the future. And it means, and owning your story means all the challenges, all the struggles that you have had that brought you to who you are today. And know that when you show up in your life, you show up as who you are. It comes across. And the more that you have compassion for yourself, the more that you honor yourself. Because I really believe that when we are authentically us, we are more connected to who we are. In fact, it was last week, when I was making that deeper connection, that it came through that I needed to talk about authentically you, or your being your authentic self. And when you're making the deeper connection to you, you are allowing yourself to shine your soul's light. And so, again, I've used this example in the past, and I see the question that came in, Misty. I'll get to in a second because I just want to give this example. So, who you are at the core, that authentic you, is your soul. It is the core essence of who you are, the light and the love. We are all that light and love. Every single one of us has that core essence. Now, what makes us different and unique, because every single person on this planet is unique and different, just like our fingerprints. We are totally different than every other person on this planet. And what makes you authentically you is that you have certain characteristics, certain abilities that you have come to into this lifetime to express. And that is what makes you, authentically you. But what happens is, in our life, if you can imagine, is that you have our light, we have our light, you're shining your light, but you may, if you've had a lot of trauma when you were growing up, and you have limiting beliefs or emotions, you can imagine there's a lot of clouds. So some people may still be shining their light and it's like a sunny day, but the clouds come by and they hide the light. Now, some people, like today, it's a cloudy day. You can't see the sun, but we know the sun is there and it's a cloudy day. So some people have more clouds and cloud coverings than others. And your job is to keep clearing your energy and to keep moving through what you need to so that you allow the light of your soul to shine through. So Misty says, let's get to Misty's statement or question. But most of the time, we are too busy doing for others, we forget to connect to ourselves. So, Misty, yes, you're a giver. And those of you who are givers, when you're too busy to connect to yourself, and if you're busy connecting with others or helping others or doing for others, I'm going to really support you in discovering. Be curious. Take some time. Take some time for yourself. And I talked about essential self-care. And part of essential self-care is that time to connect to yourself. Now, I get when you're a giver that it's so easy. It is so easy to give out all your energy that you forget to reflect on you. And what I'm hoping from this show is that you start to think about you. Now, a lot of us grew up in a time where it wasn't okay to be us, or it wasn't okay to take time for yourself, that it was selfish to take care of yourself or to do for yourself. And what I want to remind you is that it's not selfish, it's self-care. Now, I'm not talking about someone who is constantly, it's all about them, because there are people that they don't think about others. But if you're someone who is a giver who tends to think about others more than you think about yourself, there needs to be a balance. And I invite you to start looking or discovering what's your balance. And so as we go through the show, we're going to talk about more about what you can do to help you start taking that time to connect with yourself. And I really want to acknowledge you, Misty and Anastasia, and all of you that are listening, whether you're coming live or at another time. I want to acknowledge you for taking the time to listen or view this podcast, because this is time for you. So I acknowledge you for being here. And I really want to support you in finding time, perhaps in the morning. If you have a family before your day begins, maybe you take even a 5 minute, start with 5 minutes in the mornings, or maybe it's before you go to bed at night. Take some time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and start thinking, what do I want? What do I feel? Because the authentic you wants to come through. It wants to let you know what your feelings are, what your wants are, what your thoughts are, and not according to what other people are saying, but according to what your heart, because I talk about our heart, is that connection with our soul. So take some deep breaths. And maybe even now, and breathe. And allow yourself to settle in and breathe. And ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What are my values? What do I honor? And the one that just came to me as I'm talking is, and this is a biggie for a lot of people, including me. I am gonna, this next one is a biggie. And this one is, how can I be more compassionate to myself? Now, because so often when you're a giver, and I know what it's like because I can be a giver too. And if you have a tendency to beat yourself up, or if you feel like you've made mistakes, and what you want to start doing is asking yourself, how can I be more compassionate to me? And I'm going to tell you that the core authentic you wants you more than anything to love yourself more. Because when we love ourselves more, we're able to shine our lights more brightly, more fully, more completely. And so that's really important. So I invite you to ask, how can I be compassionate to myself more? Or more compassionate to myself? That's a better way of saying it. How can I be more compassionate to myself? So ask yourself that question. And when you're authentic in your life, you express yourself. No excuses, no no like apologies. You are who you are. And you are who you are. You just are. And most of all, and this is coming back to getting in touch with what your values are, what your truth is, what your heart is saying, what it is you want, how you want to be. It's making the choices that feel good to you, that feel right to you, that feel aligned. And when I say good, right, and aligned, I'm going to get more specific. It means that you are making choices that resonate, that feel, you know that you're on the right track when you're feeling more peaceful, or you're feeling joy, or you're feeling excitement or love. Those are all qualities of your soul shining through. And when you are in those states of consciousness, you're allowing your soul to shine through. And when you embrace your authentic self, what happens is you attract people, you attract your ideal clients, you attract people and friends and family. I know, and you can't pick your family, but you can pick your soul family. And what I mean by that is that as you go through your life, you attract people that resonate with who you are and where you're at, like-minded people where it feels like you belong. Now, if you're in a place where you're not feeling like you're belonging, or that you've found that, I'm going to support you in finding groups or hobbies or doing things where you can meet people that are aligned with what you love to do. If you love to cook, go to a cooking class. If you love to write, go to a writing class. If you feel like you want to get your body more in shape, go to a yoga class. Or go to a group that has spirituality, or go to church, or go to temple, or go to places that resonate with who you are. So whether it's a business, and if for your business, you want to find places that resonate with your true self, so that you're in alignment of that you are aligning and you're meeting the people that resonate with you. And according to what your ideal clients are. And so, and again, your ideal clients are coming from that place of values. Who do you want to serve? Who do you want to make a difference for? All of that. So, and if there's any questions that are coming up as I'm talking, definitely please ask them. And what happens is when you embrace your true self, what happens is and you're shining your light and your soul is coming through and you're more in alignment. And again, you're in alignment with the peace or the love or the joy radiating through and opportunities. So whether it's personal or professional, opportunities happen. You get people want to be around you, get magnetic, and people want to be around you and they really want to get to enjoy your company. So definitely that's important. And what ends up happening is you end up feeling more fulfilled. It's a natural process of being authentically you, totally and completely being authentically you. Now, one of the ways that I wanted to create something that could help you tap into your intuition and to help you to tap or into your authentic self. So what I did was I created this meditation, and if you don't like meditations, there's also a PDF where you can read the steps of being able to tap into your authentic self. Now, besides your soul, another aspect of your authentic self is what I call your higher self. And your higher self is this wise, unconditionally loving part of you, there for the asking. And when you tap into your higher self, you're also tapping into your authentic you. So the meditation will help you to be able to do that. You'll go through a clearing process, you'll connect with your higher self, and then you'll ask for guidance and wisdom. If you have a decision that you want to make and you don't know what to do, you want to ask the information, and you can get the clarity. It'll help you with clarity. So go to inspiredandempoweredliving.com. So the name of the show, inspiredandempoweredliving.com. And Rebel, can you put the thing on the show the link again? And it's inspiredandempoweredliving.com/meditation, meditation. So it will help you to get more in touch with your authentic self. Definitely. So let's talk about some people that you all may know that have been their authentic self. And because they've been their authentic self, they were just that themselves, and they were inspirations for others. So another one, somebody that inspires me, is Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey, she started her talk show way back, and she was just her. She allowed herself to share her challenges with her past, challenges with her weight, challenges, trauma, her personal growth, all of that Oprah shared. And she was truthful. And she really shared all these things. And she was on the leading edge of what talk shows were all about. And she wanted to make sure that her talk show was changing lives. And so she made sure that she was inspirational and that she was teaching her spiritual or personal growth. And that is Oprah. And I just love Oprah. I love her so much. And she is one of my inspirations. And it's because she was authentically her. And then another person, a real life example, is Brene Brown. Now, Brene Brown was totally her. And for those of you, you know, many of you know her, but if you don't, Brene Brown is a researcher, and she researched vulnerability. And she started talking about vulnerability, and she talked about shame. She started talking about shame and how important it is, and intimacy and authentic and being authentic. And Brene Brown talked about all of that. She was authentically her. You can go on TED Talks and Google Brene Brown, and her talks will come up, especially her first one. And it became viral because she was real and really herself. And she has been leading a movement. And of course, Brene Brown holds a special place in my heart also, because she is a social worker. She is a doctor of social work. So definitely check out Brene Brown. And then another person that you may have heard about is Elizabeth Gilbert. And Elizabeth Gilbert wrote a novel called Eat, Pray, and Love. Actually, it's not a novel, it was a autobiography, and her journeys. And she was sharing, she was doing a self help book, but sharing her personal life, her personal experience, her challenges, all of that. She was being real. And she became an inspiration for many people. And a lot of people, we talk about Eat, Pray, Love and that book. So know that when you are authentically you become an inspiration to those around you. You don't have to be famous on the big front. You being authentic inspires others. And I'll give you an example. I have a client, I'll call her Sally, and Sally has been working through a lot of her trauma. And she has worked through a lot of her trauma and gone through really hard times. She allowed herself to feel the grief and to feel the sadness, to feel the pain of in our sessions, in our work together. And and when she grew up in a family where it wasn't okay to feel your real feelings, it wasn't okay to express yourself or your true self, she had to hide, and she had to hide behind a mask. And what ended up happening was she had anxiety. So what happens is that when we are not authentically ourselves, we end up having symptoms, and the symptoms are because we're not allowing ourselves to be who we really are. And so Sally had she worked through a lot. And what started happening is she started being able to express herself. She expressed herself more fully, more authentically with her friends. And in doing so, what ended up happening was her friends started becoming more authentic too, because they feel safe enough with Sally to be able to share who they were. And at work, Sally was able to support the students that she worked with and the clients that she worked with. And she supported them to be able to express themselves authentically. And because she did, they had they had healing because of her, because she was allowing herself to be authentic, and she was allowing the people in her life to be authentic. And that is an inspiration. That is how you inspire others, by being you, authentically you. And so let's talk a little bit about ways that you can notice when you're not being your authentic self. Okay. So that way you can start thinking about what happens for you when you're not being your authentic self. So notice when you start editing yourself, when you start, maybe you start holding back, you're holding back in conversations. Perhaps you feel like you need to be perfect, or you need to present yourself in a certain way. And this could be in your personal life and your professional life. If that is happening, you're not being your authentic self. You're trying to either please the people around you, or you're trying to be perfect. And none of those are real. And so that is one way you can start looking at how you may be not being authentic in your life. And we will end up talking about more about how to get more authentic as well. So, what I really want to support you is to make a list of your core values. And you can make a list of 3 to 5 core values. So, I talked about mine. My top 3 is inspired, or inspiration, empowerment, and intuition, spirituality slash spirituality. So that's, to me, they come together because they're so linked and connected. So think about what your core values are, because your core values will lead you personally and professionally in every way. So think about that. And how can you express yourself more in your life, in your brand? How do you express yourself? What can you do to increase your self expression? And this is really important. This is learning to say no. And this is a biggie, especially when you're a giver. You want to say yes. You want to help people. You want to make a difference. But it's learning to say no. Learning to say no when it doesn't feel right. So if someone asks you a question for your time or your energy, whether it's personal or professional, and you are feeling overwhelmed or really busy, it's not a good time for you to say yes if you're feeling like your plate is full and another thing will put you into overwhelm. You do not want to be saying yes. You need to learn to say no. So saying no is a really important way to be true to you. And it doesn't mean it's easy. Being authentically, ourselves, doesn't mean that it's easy. Authentically, ourselves, doesn't mean that it's easy. Authentically, ourselves, doesn't mean that it's easy. Being authentically ourselves doesn't mean that it's easy. Being authentically ourselves doesn't mean that it's easy. but it means that it's important. It's important to learn to say no. And practice authenticity daily. And one way to do that is do some breathing exercises. Take some time and breathe. Just take time to sit with yourself. And even though it may be like you feeling too busy, I really, really, really want to support you to find a few minutes to take time to be with yourself. And again, that's where the no comes in. I've had clients, and I've told them that, because sometimes what happens is when you have a family, and let's say you go to work in an office, even if you're working online and you have a full day of work, or you're serving people or doing whatever you're doing, and you may need what I call decompression time. And so you can ask now, of course, if you have really young kids, you're going to have to find other ways to decompress. Maybe you need support, like a friend, to help you during decompression time. But if you have older kids or adults in the house, then you take your decompression time. And I've actually had clients say, put a sign on the door. This is time out, my time. And take the time. I really want to support you. That's essential self-care. And the more that you take care of yourself, the more you'll be able to be authentically you. That's important. So definitely you want to take time. Take the time. And then it's really taking time to be you, listening to yourself. It's learning, practicing daily, learning to listen. And listening is a crucial and essential skill, especially in communication, especially in communication with yourself. Learning to listen to you. Again, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What are your needs? What are your wants? Instead of taking care of everybody else, it's listening to what your heart, your soul is telling you. And so today we talked a lot about what authenticity is, how to be authentically you, and how to show up, and learning to set those boundaries and saying no, and taking time for you, listening to yourself. All of those are part of learning to be more authentic. And we'll continue next week for more inspired and empowered living, for a thriving life and thriving business. So tune in next week, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern, on Talk 4 TV, W4WN, and my YouTube channel. And you can listen to the podcast 24/7 on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, Apple, Amazon, and many more. And I wish you all an inspired and empowered day, evening, and week. Have a great one, everybody. Bye for now.